Hey there, listeners. Welcome to the Brand Marketing Show. Kath Langman, your host here. I am sitting here recording this episode just a day after the Reserve Bank of Australia decided, in their infinite wisdom, to increase interest rates again. So I decided I needed my red lippy back on today to help perk me up a little bit. And that I also decided that I would make sure this episode for this week is really focused on helping you guys to scale your revenue more profitably, which clearly we are all going to have to be even more focused on right now. So today, I actually want to talk about something that I've been spending quite a bit of time on in my own businesses lately, but with all of my clients as well. And this would be something super relevant to you if you are currently running paid ads to your online store. And if I can describe what is a fairly common scenario, see if this is happening to you in your business. It's this: your return on ad spend might look really good at a low daily budget of ad spend, say $50. So you feel really confident and decide to bump the budget up, maybe to, $80 or $100 or even more, and over time scaling and scaling. And suddenly you notice that your cost per acquisition goes through the roof and your return on ad spend tanks. So if that sounds familiar to you, first of all, you're not alone. But here's the thing, everyone thinks this is an ad problem. And, the common reaction is to try new creatives, new audiences, new ad manager. But I'm here to tell you, quite often your ads aren't the problem. The product page is. The destination page that your ads are going to is. So today we're going to dive into why scaling ad spend exposes weaknesses in your funnel that small budgets can hide, and why the real battle for conversions happens after the click, and the compounding cost of running ads to a product page that isn't ready for prime time. So, what's the scaling problem and why does ROAS fall apart? So, let me start with a story, a anecdote of something that happened recently. So, last month I was chatting with a premium brand. They're in the women's health and wellbeing space. They've been struggling for over a year to be able to scale their ads without success. At $80 a day, they get a great return on ad spend. Really, really profitable, over 4 times, which is fantastic, right? However, every time they try to scale that ad spend up to $300 or $400 a day, their ROAS drops to a really unprofitable rate, well under 2 times. They have tried 3 different ad agencies, countless creative variations, changing the messaging, audience adjustments, different campaign setup structures, all of the things, right? But nothing has shifted the needle. But here is what is actually happening. At $80 a day, Meta was finding their warmest possible audience: website visitors, email subscribers, people who had engaged with their organic content. These are people who already knew the brand, trusted it, and were just waiting for the right moment to buy. But when you scale the ad spend, the algorithm has to work so much harder. It has to start reaching to cold traffic, people who've never heard of your brand, who do not know your story, who have no reason to trust you yet. They might not even realize that your products are the solution to their problem. In fact, they might not even realize they have a problem that has a solution, right? And this is where the product page is going to either make or break your entire funnel. Because you see, warm traffic is forgiving. They will overlook a missing testimonial here or a confusing product description there. They will overlook gaps in the know, like, and trust content on the page. But cold traffic is ruthless. They will bounce in 3 seconds if something doesn't feel right to them. So The key insight here is that scaling exposes product page weaknesses that warm audiences forgive, but cold traffic punishes immediately. So I want to talk about the post-click problem and where premium brands lose sales. The conversion battle happens after someone clicks your ad. And this is where I think most e-commerce brands are hemorrhaging money without even realizing it. Here's something a lot of brand owners don't know. Meta isn't just watching your ad anymore. It is actually reading it. It's reading the copy, the creative, the claim that you're making, and then it follows the click and reads your product page too. It is checking whether your ad and your landing page are telling the same story to the same person. Think of it a little bit like a job interview where you've sent a brilliant CV, but then you show up for your interview and you can't back any of it up. The interviewer, in this case Meta, clocks the disconnect immediately and it penalizes you for it quietly through higher costs per click. So before a single customer even lands on your page, a generic or incongruent product page is already costing you more money. Meta has essentially decided that your content chain isn't coherent, labeled you as low relevance, and cranked up your CPMs. You are paying a tax on lazy landing pages. And then the real post-click problem kicks in, because here's where it can get really interesting for premium brands specifically. If you think about it, when someone clicks on a $15 fast fashion dress, they're already mentally committed and the barrier to purchase is really low, so the risk is minimal. But when someone clicks on your $180 sustainable dress, that is a completely different conversation entirely. They need to be convinced. They're going to need the social proof. They need to understand why your dress is worth 12 times more than what they could get on Shein. So let me give you a real example. I ordered a premium skincare brand a couple of years ago. This is not my own brand this time, but it's, beautiful brand, gorgeous organic products, $85 for a cleanser kind of thing. Their product pages looked beautiful, but they were built like catalog pages, not conversion machines. No customer reviews were visible above the fold, no ingredient story, no before and after photos, just a product shot, a price, and an add to cart button. For someone who has never heard of this brand, which was most people, clicking through from a cold Facebook ad that, the page answered exactly zero of the questions running through their mind. I mean, why is this cleanser $85? What makes it different? Do other people love it? What if it doesn't work for my skin? It was just like being handed a beautifully wrapped gift box and opening it to find no gift inside, just the box. So we help them to restructure that product page, to lead with some social proof, tell the ingredient story, address objections head on, and the conversion rate on that page went from 1.8% to 4.1% in 6 weeks. Same traffic, same ads, same products. The only thing that changed was the post-click experience. So the premium brand reality here is that your cold traffic is going to need 3 times more convincing than warm traffic, and your product page must do the persuasion work that your ads can't. So let's talk about the real cost of a product page that isn't pulling its weight, because this isn't just about lost sales, it's about the compounding damage to your entire marketing engine. Every day you run ads to a page that's converting at 1.5% instead of 3.5%, you're paying for that mistake twice. Once in wasted ad spend because you're getting charged a premium by Meta for, the non-congruent or irrelevant experience, but then also you're paying once in lost revenue. So let me show you what this might look like with some real numbers. Let's say you're spending 500 a day on ads, you're getting 100 clicks and converting at 1.5%. That's 1.5 sales per day. If your average order value is $120, that's $180 in revenue against $500 in ad spend. So your ROAS is 0.36. You are losing money fast. But if that same traffic converted at 3.5%, that's 3.5 sales or $420 in revenue and a ROAS of 0.84. Still not profitable, but getting a lot closer. And here's where it gets really painful. This compounds over time. Poor conversion rates don't just hurt your immediate ROAS, they also hurt your attribution data, which makes the algorithms worse at finding good customers, which drives up your cost per click over time. I had a client who'd been running ads to poorly converting product pages for 8 months before we started working together. And not only were they losing money daily, but their cost per click had been gradually increasing over that period of time from 80 cents to $1.40 because Meta just had, they'd learned that the traffic didn't convert well. In that 8 months, they had numerous meetings with Meta's so-called marketing pros who all echoed the generic advice that your ad manager dashboard will tell you anyway: increase your spend to X amount per day and enable various AI creative optimizations to achieve more conversions. But honestly, that's like allowing a casino pit boss to give you advice on how to gamble. I mean, of course, the house is always going to win, so why would you listen to their advice? With this particular brand, it took us 3 months of solid conversion rate optimization, plus some serious audience rebuilding to get their costs back down and their ROAS profitable. Clearly, the opportunity cost here is enormous. Every month you delay fixing your product pages is another month of losing money instead of scaling profitably. So what does a high converting product page for premium brands actually look like? And I want to walk you through some non-negotiable elements. But first, remember what we just talked about earlier. Meta is reading this page. Every element I'm about to describe isn't just doing a job for your customer, it is also signaling to the algorithm that your page is relevant, specific, and congruent with the ad that brought that person here. So if you get this right, you're not just converting better, you're actively lowering that cost per click at the same time, and the page starts paying for itself before anyone even buys. I want you to think of it a little bit like a restaurant that earns a Michelin star. The star doesn't just bring in more diners, it means the restaurant gets written about, recommended, and talked about organically. The quality of the experience kind of creates its own momentum. And a well-built product page works the same way. Meta rewards relevance with reach, and reach compounds. So here's what that page actually needs. It needs social proof above the fold, not buried down the bottom, right where cold traffic can see it immediately. Customer reviews, testimonials, user-generated content, proof that other people have bought this product and loved it. And critically, this is also one of the strongest relevant signals that you can give Meta. Real people, real language, real specificity about who this product is for. Value justification. Why is your product worth the premium price? This isn't about listing features, it's about translating those features into benefits that matter to your customer. Organic cotton isn't just a feature, it's gentler on sensitive skin and better for the planet your kids will inherit. The more specifically this mirrors the language in your ad, the more coherent your content chain is and the more Meta rewards you for it. Objection handling. What are the 3 biggest reasons someone might hesitate to buy? Price, fit, quality, effectiveness? Whatever it is, you've got to address them head on. Money back guarantee for price concerns, size guide and fit testimonials for sizing worries, materials and craftsmanship details for quality concerns, and so on. Cold traffic arrives with a head full of doubt. Your job is to dismantle every objection before it becomes a reason to leave. And then urgency and scarcity, but real urgency, not your fake countdown timer type urgency. Limited stock numbers, seasonal availability, or genuine limited edition status all work. Fake urgency doesn't, not for premium brands. And frankly, for premium brands, it actively damages your trust, which is the one thing you absolutely cannot afford to lose. And then finally, a frictionless purchase journey. Guest checkout options, multiple payment methods, clear shipping information. You want to be removing every possible barrier between I want this and I own this, because all the work that you've done, the ad, the copy, the page, means nothing if someone abandons at the checkout because they had to create an account. Here's the bottom line. If your ROAS falls apart when you try to scale, stop looking at your ad account. The problem is almost always what happens after the click. Now, I've actually put together something really specific for this. It's a short course called High Converting Product Page Design. It's for premium brand e-commerce brands specifically, and it will walk you through exactly what your product pages need to convert your cold traffic from paid ads profitably. Now, the full price is $197, but I am making it available for an introductory offer of just $47, which is less than you probably spend on ads in a day anyway, but it could be the difference between losing money and finally scaling it profitably. And I really wanted to make this as accessible as possible so as many of you listeners can grab it and go through it. It'll probably only take you 90 minutes to go through all of the content. So it's also time accessible as well, because I know you are all super busy. Now I'm going to put the link in the show notes page for this episode. So you can go to productpreneurmarketing.com/episode-307. And remember, your ads probably aren't broken. Most likely your funnel is. If you fix the funnel, everything else gets easier. That is it for today's episode, though. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have enjoyed it and you know someone else in business who could really do with learning this stuff, please pass it on. I would be forever grateful. And aside from that, I look forward, as always, to being in your ears again next week. Bye for now.